Christmas in July is officially here, and Hallmark Channel kicked it off with Falling Like Snowflakes. How was their first new Christmas movie of the year? Well, I've got a lot of things to talk about, so let's dive right in and get to it. Hi, I'm Stephanie, and this is the Magical Movie Club, a place to come and chat about Hallmark Christmas movies. On June 29th, we watched Falling Like Snowflakes, starring Rebecca Dalton and Marcus Rosner. I've only found a couple of other Hallmark movies that Rebecca Dalton has made, including Christmas by Design and The Dog Lover's Guide to Dating. But I remember her best as the replacement who took over the role of Tara for a couple of seasons on the series Good Witch. Marcus Rosner, on the other hand, he's been very busy with Hallmark lately with movies like Flipping for Christmas, Love on the Right Course, and another one we'll be watching later this month called An Ice Palace Romance. This past Saturday we watched Falling Like Snowflakes. The movie opens up in the snowy mountains, and Tegan, played by Rebecca Dalton, is up there with her camera gear taking pictures of snowflakes that she's captured on a black cloth. It turns out she's quite the talented photographer and an expert on all the different types of snowflakes. Her work is currently being displayed at the Winslow Gallery, run by her friend Charlotte. She's hoping her work will do well at the Christmas Eve auction coming up, mentioning that the money they bring in would help with fixing the heater at their local community center.
Yeah, will it start snowing in here before the heater gets fixed?
Which is also where she's teaching photography classes to kids over the Christmas break.
Julie, I love the contrast here. The tree line against the sunrise, it really grabs your attention.
One of those students is a girl named Julie. She's waiting outside in the snow after class.
It's snowing pretty heavy up on Crescent Pass. My dad had to make sure it was clear, so he said he might be a little late.
We find out that her dad is Noah, played by Marcus Rosner, and yes, he drives a big snowplow. Tegan drives Julie home, and when she and Noah meet, there's obviously some awkwardness between them that Julie picks up on right away.
Tegan, this is my dad.
Hi, Noah.
Hi, Tegan.
Now, I'm just throwing this out there, but with Julie being in Tegan's class right now, how is it that she and Noah haven't run into each other, considering Willow Creek doesn't appear to be a very large town, and Noah, who left town to go away to college and start a career as a weatherman, came back to take over for Tegan's father when he retired to run her family's business.
Hey, how's your dad enjoying retirement?
He's very happy you came back and took over the family business.
Or at the very least, maybe reached out to her, considering they said they grew up together. Oh, and on a completely different topic, I noticed later that evening when she was back home working on her computer, she has 3 Christmas trees all in the same room. Now, I know my husband and I are a little crazy with how many trees we have in our house, but we don't have more than 1 tree in a room. Anyway, as I often do, I digress. Actually, as we're getting back to the movie now, it just so happens that Noah and Tegan run into each other in town the very next morning when he's out getting coffee. Imagine that.
Thanks. Good morning.
What? Oh, hi.
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 Well, Tegan was on her way back to meet with an art collector at the gallery who's fascinated with her photo collection of snowflakes. He tells her he'll buy the entire collection at the auction if she can add 1 more photograph.
And if you do, I'll bid for the whole collection, all 35.
We learn that apparently she has captured 34 out of the 35 known different types of snowflakes.
The 12-sided stellar dendrite.
This one forms in extremely harsh weather conditions and is the most difficult to find. Oh, and this art collector tells her that he'll also make a donation to the community center.
Charlotte also tells me the community center is in need of some pretty serious repairs.
But Christmas Eve is less than a week away, so she hasn't much time, and that's what this movie's all about.
Tegan, Charlotte.
It's a fun movie. It's a sweet movie. But as you can see so far, there isn't any life-changing moment yet. Most Hallmark movies, the really good ones anyway, have something happen early on that forces one of the main characters to step out of their comfort zone. Often it's losing a job or maybe ending a relationship. But as of right now, Tegan is a photographer who loves capturing snowflakes, and she's been tasked with doing exactly that. In the next scene, we meet Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne. Hi. I hope I'm not too early. I'm really looking forward to showing you my photographs for the auction.
The initial conversation between these two was kind of forced, in my opinion. It didn't make sense to me that Charlotte would be telling Suzanne about Tegan off chasing snowflakes.
Well, if she finds the right one, it will help make the auction a massive success, not to mention a lot more people will know about her photos.
That didn't seem appropriate to me when she was meeting with Suzanne to view her work. I mean, maybe this is a stretch, but think about it. If you were going on a job interview, would you want this potential employer to start the conversation by telling you how amazing the last candidate was who was just interviewing right before you showed up? Well, that's the only nice thing I'll say about Suzanne, because they did a wonderful job of making her not likable.
These are your friends' pictures, the snowflakes you were telling me about.
You see, she wanted to submit the winning photograph of that snowflake herself, and she wormed her way into Julie's good side. You know, Noah's daughter.
But they're so small. I can't imagine how she does it.
She was really kind of sleazy that way. And kudos to the actress who played her.
He likes snowflakes. Interesting.
Whenever we saw her throughout the movie, she was desperately trying to either find that special snowflake, or she was covertly trying to get Julie to spill more information about Tegan.
Well, she uses a 90mm macro lens with a polarizing filter to help cut down on the glare.
Well, Tegan, meanwhile, was now up on the side of the road on a mountain where it's very cold, and although there is snow everywhere, it's not actually snowing at that moment. What does happen in the scene, though, is Noah drives up in his snowplow and Tegan flags him down. She was fishing for some information about the weather conditions up at Crescent Pass.
You weren't just here taking pictures, were you?
Took a few.
No. You were waiting for me.
And she wanted to ask for his help in navigating the storm so that she could look for that rare snowflake.
If I can just get to the center of the storm, even for a few minutes, it'd be the best chance I've ever had.
Of course, they went up the mountain together, and in his great big snowplow, too. He even asked Charlotte to watch Julie while he was gone. See, that's another reason why I'm surprised that he and Tegan hadn't run into each other before now. On a side note, if you're looking for an inexpensive way to watch Hallmark Channel movies, I'd like to take just a moment to let you know about Friendly TV. I've been a subscriber for years, and I feel very fortunate now to have an affiliate relationship with them. What I like about Friendly TV is, first of all, they're the most affordable live TV streaming service I know, and that includes unlimited DVR and a 72-hour look back with the classic plan. That means that if I accidentally forget to record a movie, and that does happen from time to time, I still have 72 hours to go back and watch it and still save it as a recording. Both of those features are awesome, and this is how I watch Hallmark movie premieres every week on Saturday nights. So if you're in the US or Canada, use the link in the description below to check out Friendly TV and all they have to offer. There's no additional cost to you for clicking this link, but this is how they know that I sent you there, and it's how I know that you were sent to them through one of my YouTube videos. So thank you for checking them out. And now, let's get back to the movie review. As you can imagine, they reconnect and reminisce a bit while they're on the road together. They pretty much track the storm, and all sorts of things happen on their journey. On the pleasant side, they stayed the night at a cute little place up the mountain called Evergreen Inn.
Welcome to the Evergreen Inn. My name is Wayne. If there's anything you need, you let me know.
Where they meet Wayne, the man running the inn. He was decked out fully in a Charles Dickens period costume, ready for caroling later that night.
How is the cell phone reception?
A little bit like coming downstairs on Christmas morning. You just don't know what you're going to get.
On the not so pleasant side, they slipped on some black ice and veered off the road and crashed the truck.
Black ice, hold on.
The truck was actually okay, it was just stuck. They needed to find help to get it back on the road. Now, I thought things were really going to get interesting at this point, because at the very same time that they slid off the road, Suzanne was outside facing rough weather, still trying to find her own snowflake. I was convinced that they were going to run into each other, and maybe they would be forced to have to help each other.
Noah,
I see it.
Whether this meant physically helping to get out of the storm together, or maybe even working together to find that snowflake.
Wayne?
Well, hello there.
I don't know what I was expecting, but I really thought the story was building up to something big like that. But nope, Wayne just showed up with the truck. It was all ready to go.
Oh, great.
Thank you, Wayne.
They didn't even show us how he got it back on the road. And the next time we saw Suzanne, she was at the gallery showing Charlotte her rather terrible photos.
Your vision is to take photos that make people slightly queasy?
I mean, she was a lackluster photographer at best. She turned out to be no real threat at all. And then her character just went away and became irrelevant. Nothing became of her. She and Tegan never even met or had a conversation together. So what was the whole point of having her in this movie? Now, there was one more climactic moment in this movie where Tegan lost her camera up in the mountains.
My camera.
And the weather conditions were so bad, she didn't know where it was when she lost it.
Noah?
Tegan!
Noah!
So they couldn't go look for it, and they just had to go back home. Again, I thought this was where it was going to be some clever, unexpected twist in the story now, right? No, apparently we never got to see this, but early the next morning, Noah went back up and, wow, would you look at that?
Hey, sorry, I probably should have called first, but thought you might want this.
He just happened to find her camera buried up in the snow, up in the mountains, and it was in perfect condition. Oh, and it turns out she did capture a photo of that amazingly rare snowflake.
Noah.
Is that?
Yeah, that was it. It was seriously anticlimactic. We never even got to see him go look for the camera. Now, before I continue, I will say there was some sweet chemistry between the two of them. Obviously, they got their happy ending, and Julie was a great kid and very supportive.
Would you like to join us for Christmas dinner tomorrow?
I would love to.
But where was the character development? I've got to ask, were either Noah's or Tegan's lives transformed in any way by the events in this movie?
Great. Well, we can just enjoy the view while we wait.
Okay.
I mean, besides falling in love again, that was certainly good, but what else? What was the pivotal moment that caused their lives to veer in an unexpected direction? Did anyone make a life-altering decision or find their purpose in life as a result of taking a picture of that snowflake?
I don't know, I'd hate to think that we went through all that and can't even get the look.
Okay.
No, nothing like that came even close to happening. Let me give you an example of what I think would have made this story better. Suppose Noah hadn't actually moved back to Willow Creek just yet. Maybe he and Julie could have been visiting his mother for Christmas or something like that.
Fresh out of the oven.
Oh, I thought I smelled gingerbread.
And perhaps he could have been offered a prestigious job as a weatherman for a big city news agency.
There's a star that comes out right around Christmas, just before sunset. For a few minutes, it's the brightest thing in the sky.
And at the same time, what if Tegan's dad was still running his business, but was looking to retire and had no one lined up to take over or to sell his business to? I feel all of this should have been part of the movie, not just a couple of sentences recapping something that had already happened. If they had, then Noah's choosing to stay would now be a life-altering decision. You know, one that he would make because of Tegan, not just because of other circumstances.
Really wanted a place where Julie could grow up and love her home as much as I did. When I saw your dad was retiring, I couldn't think of a better place.
I know I've said it before, but my favorite Hallmark Christmas movies start with the characters at the very core. A fun story is absolutely necessary too, but without entertaining characters whose lives are somehow transformed by their experiences, then at best all we have is a movie that follows a recipe or maybe checks off a list of requirements to fill in the 2 hours. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened with this one. I feel like that's 2 weeks in a row where Hallmark didn't necessarily show us a bad movie, but again, this one just wasn't anything special. And also, like last week's, will I remember this in a couple of years? Probably not. I was not emotionally attached to anyone here, which, now that I think about it, let me add to something I said a moment ago. My favorite Hallmark Christmas movies are the ones where I experience something special or feel a connection with the characters. When it's all over, I want to remember how I felt for having seen it. And this time I felt like the ending was just too abrupt and anticlimactic. And without any character development whatsoever, I'm giving this a 2 out of 5. So how about you? Did you feel the same way, or was this enough of a story that you would watch it again? Please share your thoughts about it too in the comments below. Well, I think that wraps up my review of Falling Like Snowflakes, which means next week we'll be watching not a new movie, but a special extended cut version of the ever so popular 3 Wise Men and a Baby with Andrew Walker, Tyler Hynes, and Paul Campbell. I won't actually be on Twitter that night, which I'm a little disappointed about, but I've got other commitments that night, so no worries, I'll have a lot to say about it right here on YouTube next week. Until then, and as always, thank you so much for being a part of the Magical Movie Club. If you like this too and want to see more, please let me know by hitting the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also consider following us on Instagram at Magical Movie Club and on Twitter at Magical Movie Club with no U in club. You can find those links below in the description, as well as links to the preview and the movie page for Falling Like Snowflakes at Hallmark.com. I'll be back next week to chat more about our favorite magical movies.